Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is remaining fairly cool and showery, but actually shouldn't be too bad. And as we head into the weekend and start of next week, it might turn a little bit warmer as the upper air temperatures do start to slowly rise, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a quick rise. Really only the middle of the month onwards could we be seeing those upper air temperatures returning back towards average, and potentially might bring more precipitation with that as well, unfortunately. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well. The link's in the description. And as you start on the live radar, you can see through this evening into the morning we are seeing a few showers around, again heaviest in the north, but nothing too crazy. A few of these showers spreading further southwards, but again mostly concentrated towards the sources of moisture out towards the north and the west. Now overnight tonight, and we're calling this around midnight, you can see temperatures are coldest in the north, temperatures down close towards freezing in fact, whereas further southwards we are seeing temperatures a little bit higher, but again that's inevitable with those upper air temperatures recovering better, and of course being further away from the source of the cold, which is coming in from the north and the west. You can see much of northern Europe is actually pretty chilly at the moment, with the warmth really confined more towards the Mediterranean. Even here it's not especially warm for the time of year. Now, if you go over to the latest UKV, you can see it is a fairly showery outlook through much of Friday, especially in the north and west, but it doesn't look too bad. Like, if we're being completely honest, yes, a few showers around, but really nothing too bad compared to what we can see. Now, you see as we head through Friday evening, the showers will continue, but again, nothing too crazy. And as we head into Saturday, again, we could see another smattering of showers, but again, it's very similar. Day on day is looking almost the same. As we head it through into Sunday, a bit more in terms of persistent rain moving in from the north, but it does break apart as it does progress southwards, and you can see into the early hours of Monday that rain clears. We go into another showery northerly wind, and if you have a look at the upper air temperatures, you can see some further cooler air does return. So you can see it warms up a little bit through the weekend, then we can see another plunge of cooler air here, at least from the UKV, as we head into the early part of the week. But still quite a bit of uncertainty. These colder air masses are very small and are subject to very little deviations that could warm them up significantly or push them well away from us. So we have to wait and see. Now, if you have a look at the 2 metre max temperatures, you can see as we head through Friday afternoon, temperatures at best 18 to 20 in the far southeast, further northwards more towards single digits or low teens at best. As we head into Saturday, temperatures again maybe 18 to 20 degrees in the far southeast, further northwards cooler, and as we head into Sunday, a similar story, 20 degrees maybe in the far southeast, maybe a large area of 18 or 19, and further northwards again is still pretty chilly, being closest to that colder air. As we head into Monday, it does turn chillier though for all, maybe 16 or 17 only really in the far south, further northwards down towards the single digits for much of Scotland, and the same can be said for Tuesday, where again it looks pretty chilly indeed, really not great for the time of year. We were hoping it was going to warm up, but that may be, as I said, delayed more towards the middle of the month, unfortunately. Now, if you go over to the latest GFS and see what that is in store over the course of the next couple of weeks, you can see the northerly wind in at the moment, and we see potentially another area of northerly winds arriving early next week. So that has cropped up on the longer range runs and the shorter range runs, maybe giving it a little bit more in terms of reliability. And you can see that there is that fresher air mass moving in, but it does get pushed away quite quickly into the middle of the week, so perhaps only lasting again another day or two. But you can see it is pushed away by milder air but lower pressure, so would turn more unsettled. You can see as we head into the extended range, high pressure is building in, and actually it does start pushing some warm or very warm air. If we look at those upper air temperatures, 6 to 8 degrees above average. And if we actually have a look at the surface temperatures here, we are likely to see those temperatures into the mid-20s there. That's pretty warm indeed by the end of this latest GFS. 26 degrees somewhere down towards the south, and 30 degrees across the channel. So very warm from the GFS in the extended range, but the emphasis there is on the extended range, not coming in the foreseeable future, unfortunately, and highly unlikely to play out like this regardless. Now, if you do have a look at the latest GM, see how that does compare over the next 10 days. Again, low pressure is pushing in from the north, and it does allow that fresher and showery air mass to move in through the end of this week, and again returning into the start of next week. And then we see generally more low pressure just building in and turning things more unsettled, and eventually we could see higher pressure building back in from the east, and that may settle us down a little bit, but lots of little cut-off lows around, which unfortunately probably would keep some of that rain. And you can see the warm air isn't too far away, but it's still well towards the Mediterranean, so it wouldn't be imminent really here. If you have a look at the latest ECMWF, again a northerly wind pushing in over the next couple of days and returning into early next week, and then eventually a low pressure sets up to our south before high pressure could start to extend back in, but again not really any dominant signal. And if we have a look at those upper air temperatures, you can see they are not particularly warm, not particularly cold either, so we'll just, as I said, have to wait and see. Now, if you do go over to the latest ensembles, you can see the colder conditions generally over the next week to 10 days. Precipitation increasing into the early part of next week, into the middle of the week. Unfortunately, that could mean it's slightly unsettled, and it is cooler with those upper air temperatures still around 5 degrees below average. We're still seeing that rise around the mid-month, and it does look like there's fairly good confidence in that. But you can see it does remain unsettled, which again isn't the most positive. So yeah, not looking good for drier conditions. It's dry the next few days, especially in the south, but it's chilly. So if you don't mind the temperatures being around the mid to high teens, maybe having to wear a jumper, not too bad in the sun, then the next few days are looking good. But if you do prefer t-shirt and shorts, humidity, and some actual proper heat, then no chance on the horizon at the moment, really. If you compare finally to the ECMWF, very similar, cooler into the next week, potentially more than 5 degrees below average, maybe getting towards 6 or 7 degrees below average, and turning more unsettled, and again having that rise towards the middle of the month. But again, as I said, it's remaining fairly unsettled. So although, yes, upper air temperatures rising, still remaining fairly unsettled. And again, that does mean that we could be seeing showers, thunderstorms returning. Again, not ideal for what we want this time of year. Does seem like the first half of June is going to be pretty chilly indeed, especially the further north you go. Because if you do look at the ECMWF ensembles for Glasgow, you can see it's fairly unsettled, showery, and it is pretty chilly again for these northern areas. But again, the humidity temperatures here are going to be even poorer than the south, as you can see here, maybe struggling to get into the double digits on some days, and at best into the low teens. So unfortunately, not a particularly positive video. It does look like it's going to remain fairly cool, turning increasingly showery next week. Still should be some decent stuff in there in terms of sunshine and dry conditions, but the temperature's still pretty poor for most, for what we should expect this time of year. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.